Hello and welcome everybody to another StarCraft 2 cast by Glitch. This is going to be a TVT on the Shattered Temple. Spawning as the blue Terran on the right side of the map, we have dSeleCT. dSeleCT is he's an American player of Korean origin who plays for Team Dignitas. Excellent, very well-known player. Super good Terran. I loved him at the NASL, so I wanted to cast more of his games, and today one of his games came up, so I decided to cast it. It is a bit longer of a match, so I am going to be splitting this up into two parts. Early warning. His opponent for today, spawning on the left side as the yellow Terran, is Everize. Everize I know nothing about. I looked him up, and he's been in a couple of smaller tournaments before, but not very well out there. There is some debate about where this match comes from. It is a best of 3, and so I was looking up, trying to find out where this match came from. It might have come from the Intel Extreme Masters Cup. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. There seems to be some debate over whether that is where it's from. If I do find out where it's from, I will go back and post a little bit of an update here or annotate this somewhere, so that you can find out where exactly this match was from. It was played over Battle.net, I know that much. So, dSeleCT going for a very fast gas. He went for a spawning depot, a spawning depot, which is like a supply depot. He went for a supply depot followed by a gas. This indicates a lot of very early tech. I'm not sure what exactly he's going to be doing. He is now throwing down his barracks, which you can see is far behind Everize's. His is just starting, whereas Everize's is now almost complete. Everize has no gas yet, but he is sending in a scout SCV. Both players still just droning up. I think both players should be even on drone count at this moment. Man, I am just all over Zerg today, aren't I? I think it's because I just cast this morning episode 4 of the What is StarCraft series, and it was on the Zerg race, so I think I'm stuck in Zerg mindset mode right now. I got to get it into Terran mode because this is a TVT. I'm going to be talking about Terran for a little while, for this entire best of 3. A factory has now gone down for dSeleCT, and in Everize's base we don't have too much yet, still just running on one barracks. Looks like he could potentially be getting ready to expand. No, maybe not yet. There is an orbital command now coming down for both players. And I'm really interested to see what dSeleCT is going to do. TVT is one of the more interesting matchups, I find, at least of the mirror matchups anyway. Protoss versus Protoss, Terran versus Terran, I'm not the biggest fan of. Or Protoss versus Protoss and Zerg versus Zerg, rather. Terran versus Terran tends to be very dynamic because of the wide range of options that they have available to them. They can go a heavy infantry force. I've seen some players go very heavy on infantry units with a lot of upgrades. I've seen some players go the marine tank style of play. And I've seen some players go for the mech style of play. The mech style of play where you get a lot of factory units up. And interesting, dSeleCT right now is going for the Destiny Cloud Fist or 1-1-1 build. That is where they build one barracks, one factory, and one starport. And he does have a tech lab attached to that starport, so he is going to be possibly getting a quick Banshee to try to do some harassment here. There is a Hellion now out and is moving across the field, so he's going to try to see if he can do some harassment with this build. Now this is a very interesting style of play for dSeleCT. This is a very common style against Zerg, but against Terran it's not seen quite so much. It's much more common to see Terran players go for that marine tank style of play. He is now sending out, I don't believe he's seen anything in his opponent's base. If we check out dSeleCT's vision, yes, dSeleCT has not scouted Everize at all, so he has no idea what Everize is doing. But this Hellion is moving in now, and he will be able to scout this base. Everize has walled off now, though, and oh man, looks like he might get a free Hellion out of... no, dSeleCT does manage to pull it away quick enough. Everize now throwing down a couple more barracks and the expansion command center, so it looks like Everize is trying to expand, and the Banshee is now coming out for dSeleCT. This is coming out with Cloak. Cloak is coming out as well. This Cloak isn't the best timed Cloak ever. Cloak is just now starting to come up. There's still 90 seconds left on that Cloak, but the Banshee is now moving across the field. This will be, dSeleCT will really need to do a lot of damage with this Banshee if he really wants this to be worth it. He did spend a lot of resources teching up to this Banshee. And to really make it worth it, he's going to have to deal a lot of damage. But, oh my goodness, Everize knows that this Banshee is coming in and has placed a lot of Marines here. Oh, Select, you really need to be careful. Select trying to get a couple of shots off there on those Marines. But Everize is completely prepared for this Banshee. He is saving up some scan on his orbital command, so in case that Banshee cloaks, he will be able to take it out. Select now just following this up with another Banshee, so it looks like he is committing a little heavily to Banshees. Reactor now coming up on the barracks. This is to get up some Marines in case Everize decides to move out, because Select has now scouted that Everize has gone for a lot of Marines. Now this Banshee has now moved to the back of the mineral line for Everize. There is a missile turret coming down, and that Banshee does manage to get 2 kills, 3 kills, and the Banshee goes down. I don't know that that was quite worth it for Select. A Banshee does cost, let's see, what does a Banshee cost? 150 minerals and 100 gas, and he only managed to get off 3 kills there, each of which were worth 50 minerals. 2 drones and 1 Marine, I believe, if I am not mistaken. And that only equates to about 150 minerals. So Select did lose a little bit in that exchange. He is still harassing with the second Banshee though. 1 kill so far for that Banshee, but with that, yeah, with all these Marines here, that Banshee's not going to be able to deal much damage. So things not looking the best for Select right now. Everize is still just heavily pumping infantry units. He does have a stim coming down right now, and playing it nice and safe, getting a couple of medevacs, so it looks like he could go for some drop play, or just use those Marines to well defend his base. And Select coming in with another Banshee. He is determined to do some damage with those Banshees. He is now getting a couple of free SCV kills there, and he is now cloaked and moved into the back. Looks like Everize has no scan available to him right now, but there is a missile turret which is going to deny any kind of damage there from that Banshee. He now has, yeah, looks like 2 scans available to him, so if he needs to get some scans off, he can. He is saving those 2 scans and not throwing down any mules at this time. Select now placing a command center down. Looks like he is going to be taking an expansion of his own, as he has now seen the expansion of Everize. I'm okay with this play by Select. As I said before, Select hasn't done that much damage with these Banshees. I'd really like to see some more damage done, but one thing that having these Banshees out on the field has done, it has forced Everize to stay in his base. Everize has not had the chance to move out until just now, when this Banshee pressure was released. Everize has loaded up a couple of medevacs, and he is moving across the field, so Everize might have the chance to deal a lot of damage here. Select's units are out of position here, guarding the front of his base, and here come the medevacs. These are going to do massive amounts of damage. He's going to get a lot of worker kills off of these units. All that is here right now is 1 siege tank, and oh my god, Select is going to have to come back here to defend this quick, and oh, a lot of kills here going down. The stim goes down for Everize. He's getting a lot of worker kills here. Very nice play here by Everize. Everize at 8 SCV kills right now to Select's 12 worker kills, and oh my god, he is focusing down the orbital command. That orbital command might just go down unless Select can get in some repair, and there he does bring in all his SCVs to repair, and that command center is going to be saved. Everize is now picking up the rest of his units and getting him out of there. So nice play there by Everize. I really like that. He is now ahead. He did manage to get this orbital command up a little bit ahead of Select, so he's a little bit ahead in economy. And now he almost caught up in workers killed. He did get 8 workers killed out of that exchange, so a good exchange, because he also forced those SCVs to pull off the line and that orbital command to lift for a little while. So that is going to force Select to have to sit back for a little while and try to get some of those SCVs back up. Checking out the SCV count right now, Select is behind because he was doing all that early harassment and got up such fast Banshees. He wasn't able to keep up constant SCV production, it looks like, because he did have more SCV kills, but he is behind in the harvester count. Checking out the production tab, Select is now getting up Stim. This is going to allow his Marines to get a little bit of extra mobility and speed and attack. So it looks like he's transitioning into a little bit more of a standard style of play. Looks like he does have some Marines on the field. His stim is now up, and it looks like he's going to be going for, I would bet, oh, I was going to say medevacs, but no, it looks like he's going to be going for a Marine tank Viking style of play. Now the reason Terran players do this is because if you are going Marine tank and you have an opponent who is also going Marine tank, what the Vikings give you is the Vikings give you vision. the siege tanks can actually shoot. You can see that the siege tanks can actually shoot a little bit farther than he actually has sight. He actually only has sight right now to here, but siege tanks can shoot a little bit farther. So if you can manage to nab that air control with Vikings, then your Vikings can sit out here and give your siege tanks vision and allow your siege tanks to have a much bigger advantage over your opponent's siege tanks. In Camp Everize, however, right now we do have some siege tanks coming down, so it looks like it is going to be this marine tanks versus marine tanks style of Terran that is relatively common among Terran players. These Vikings now moving around the map trying to hunt down those medevacs, and oh my gosh, it looks like he is going to find it, and that medevac is taking damage. Everize needs to get that medevac out, and no, he doesn't even get to it in time, and that medevac filled with marines does go down. Select now placing a couple of siege tanks in his base to prevent any kind of drops, but he needs to be careful. Everize does have this other drop here waiting at his natural. The forces of Select are now, looks like they are indeed moving out. No medevacs yet up for Select, though he could be producing some right now. No medevacs down for Select. Select is being very active with his building swapping. He's managing his add-ons in a very interesting way. He's not even using this tech lab right now. Select is now moving across the field, though, and Everize stimming those marines to get them out of there. Nice little save there by Everize. Everize is grouping his units together. The siege tank count right now heavily favoring Select, but looks like Everize is pulling a few more siege tanks from his base to try to defend this attack. Select moving into position here with these Vikings, and we are going to actually use this as a good place to split, ladies and gentlemen, to see if Select can deal a lot of damage and deal the killing blow with this attack in a moment.